I'd faced insurgents in Iraq, dodged bullets in hostile zones, but nothing prepared me for the suburban warfare waiting in Oak Ridge Estates. I'm Jake Harper, 29, a retired Marine turned therapy dog trainer for veterans. After 2 tours, I used my VA loan to buy a cozy 3-bedroom house for due law 220,000. Every cent of my essay, VY, NGS, poured into a dream of stability. My 6 rescue dogs, my lifeline, doubled as my therapy crew. Max, a German shepherd with his own PTSD from military service VYC. Daisy, a golden retriever saved from a puppy mill. Brutus, a bulldog. Scout, a border collie. Rex, a Labrador. And Luna, a sensitive beagle. Each had a story as broken as mine, but together we were rebuilding. The trouble started the day I moved in. A 50-page HOA rulebook sat in my mailbox, detailing everything from grass length to mailbox colors. I thought it was a prank until Margaret Voss, the HOA president, showed up at 7 a.m. sharp. 50-ish, with flawless blonde hair and a smile that screamed trouble. She clutched a measuring tape and clipboard like weapons. "Welcome to Oak Ridge," she said, her voice syrupy but cold. Before I could offer coffee, she was measuring my driveway, declaring it 2.3 inches off regulation. As she droned on about aesthetic standards, my dogs started their morning romp in the backyard, barking joyfully. Margaret's face went white, her clipboard hitting the ground. "How many dogs do you have?" she stammered. 6, I said calmly. "They're therapy animals for veterans." Her eye twitched. "The pet limit is 2. This is unacceptable." I showed her my certifications, VA papers, therapy licenses, the works. These weren't pets. They were lifesavers. That's when Carl Jenkins appeared, a balding guy in his 40s wearing a fake security uniform, complete with a plastic badge. "Officer Jenkins, HOA security," he announced, puffing his chest like a mall cop. I nearly laughed. He had no authority, and his badge looked like it came from a costume shop. The next morning, a yellow notice was stapled to my door. "Dulaw 500 fine for excessive pets." Worse, another flyer warned of dangerous veterans with combat training and featured a snarling dog. My blood boiled. I'd fought for this country, and now I was public enemy number 1. Later, while setting up an agility course, I found a GPS tracker on Luna's collar, industrial grade, professionally attached. Someone was watching me. My Marine instincts kicked in. I started recording everything, documenting every interaction. Old habits die hard. Margaret upped the ante, showing up with Carl to accuse me of stealing community water for my dog's hydrotherapy. The spigot, a shared amenity per the pre-VYS owner, was suddenly HOA property. She snapped photos like I was running a cartel, while Carl nodded sagely in his ridiculous uniform. I demanded proof of any rule against it, but she called an emergency HOA meeting, painting me as a water thief VY-ing warlord. I showed up in my dress blues, ribbons gleaming, and spoke to the packed room. "These dogs help veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, serve VY Vor's guilt. Max saved lives in Iraq. The water? It's for therapy to keep wounded warriors off opioids." The room shifted. An elderly woman, Mrs. Larson, teared up hearing how Brutus helped prevent veteran suicides. Applause broke out. Margaret slammed her gavel, fuming. Then came a game changer. Sarah Miller, a part-time HOA bookkeeper whose husband was deployed, approached me nervously. "Margaret's got an illegal fountain system hooked to the main HOA line, bypassing her meter. She uses it for wellness retreats, charges due la $300 a head. That night, using night, VY Shown gear for my Sarah VYC days, I confirmed it. A resort-style fountain complex siphoning thousands of gallons monthly. This wasn't a hobby. It was a business built on theft. I started compiling EVY Denke, dubbing it Operation Liberty Unleashed. Margaret's harassment intensified. Carl patrolled my house hourly, snapping photos. Margaret used a laser pointer to provoke my dogs, triggering barking she'd find me for. Luna, my most fragile rescue, grew stressed. My own PTSD flared nightmares of Iraq, the feeling of being hunted. At 3 a.m., Max and Luna grounded me as I sat hyperventilating on my kitchen floor. New notices arrived. Do Lot 200 for excessive barking, threats to seize my dogs, accusations of unlicensed business. She'd crossed the line, targeting the animals that saved me. A retired neighbor, George Ellis, shared a chilling story. Margaret got me EVY TED for my home of 30 years. Fines, fake violations, harassment until I couldn't afford the legal fight. I live in an RV now. She did it because I questioned her water bills. Sarah later revealed Margaret hired a PI to dig into my military record, spreading rumors about my unstable mental state. Kids were told to avoid the crazy Marine with attack dogs. I fought back with tech, installing IoT sensors to track water flow and cameras to catch her moves. Data showed massive water spikes at Margaret's during her retreats, synced with emails Sarah saved proof of her special water arrangement. At 2 a.m. one Tuesday, I struck. Margaret's illegal water line ran through a junction box. With tactical precision, I shut the valve, stopping her theft. By 6:30 a.m., chaos erupted. Her Dula 300A head retreat, packed with wealthy women in designer yoga gear, collapsed when the healing fountains ran dry. Margaret stormed my porch, screaming, "You sabotaged my system." I stayed calm. "Ma'am, I'm just feeding my dogs." She dialed 911, ranting about a dangerous Marine weaponizing therapy dogs for biological warfare. The dispatcher sounded baffled. I recorded every word. Police arrived, led by Officer Ramirez, a vet I knew from local events. Margaret played the VY Tim, crocodile tears and all, but I showed Ramirez the GPS tracker, violation notices, and recordings of her threats. "I just turned off an illegal water connection," I said. Chief Daniel stepped in. Mr. Harper served his country. Filing false reports, however, is a crime, Mrs. Voss. As the cops left, Margaret faced 40 furious clients demanding refunds for her tap water scam. Chief Daniels warned me later, "She won't quit. Watch your back." Margaret's next move was a restraining order claiming my combat PTSD made me a community threat. In court, her high-priced lawyer painted me as a ticking bomb. I represented myself, dressed blues on, and presented VA certifications, veteran testimonials, and a clean record. Sarah testified, "Jake's a hero. Margaret's the one terrorizing us." Judge Elaine Carter saw through the lies, dismissing the order and scolding Margaret's lawyer for abusing the system. The real bombshell came when Sarah handed me a USB drive. I've documented everything: Margaret's water theft, Carl's fake security deals, residents she forced out. The files were a gold mine. Dula 180,000 embezzled over 4 years. Forged invoices, emails plotting to ruin people like George. At the annual HOA meeting, I was ready. Margaret opened with a jab at rule-breaking veterans, but I took the podium, projecting a presentation, financial irregularities and misconduct. Graphs showed water spikes tied to her retreats. Bank records, emails, and photos exposed her theft and Carl's fake contracts. The room gasped as I revealed how George and others were driven out. Margaret screamed, "It's fabricated," but I held up the USB. "I record everything, ma'am, including your threat to make me pay." The room erupted. A no-confidence vote passed unanimously. Police escorted Margaret and Carl out as residents demanded investigations. Charges followed: embezzlement, fraud, false reports. Margaret sold her house to pay restitution. Carl's security gig was shut down. Sarah became HOA president, passing bylaws for transparency and veteran support. George bought back his home. My therapy program thrived, with kids like Sarah's son joining sessions. Sitting on my porch, Max's head on my knee, the American flag waving, I thought about the battles I've fought overseas and here. Sometimes the enemy isn't on a battlefield. It's in your neighborhood, hiding behind a clipboard. We'd won, not with guns, but with truth. What do you think? Was I right to shut off Margaret's water, or did I escalate too far? Should HOAs have this much power, or are they just legalized bullying? Have you faced a tyrant like Margaret in your community? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more real-life battles.